to part 2 of meth psychosis stories, the 2023 meth psychosis experience. I'm Micatron, and as you know, always with the co-host, the Toffinator. Then you got Pennywise in the background looking all crazy. Uh, so this is going to be part 2. I'm going to give a little bit of a beginning disclaimer that I do not condone the illegal use of narcotics or drugs. I am in recovery, and I am only wanting to share a story with y'all. If it's not just only for entertainment purposes, it is to help one person. If I can help one person along their journey of recovery not to make the same mistakes that I made, then everything that I've went through will be in not in vain, but actually a positive. Toffee is trying really hard to play with me now, so I'm gonna ignore him. But he's really wanting me to play ball with him. I've been playing ball with him for a while. Hopefully this sounds better. I've got my earbuds in. So yeah, let's get started. So I left off where the cops were going around my trailer. Yeah, see, I told you Toffee's wanting to play. So this might not even work out right now because they'll probably start barking here in a second. But anyways, so cops going around my trailer with a flashlight. Remember I said one of them was like an orange fluorescent, like old street light flashlight. And the other one was like the regular bright LED flashlights. And the bright LED flashlight was like going around my room, and the orange one was like in the by the main door, but could flash in here. It probably makes no sense to y'all since you don't know the layout of my house. But, anyways, like I said, I acted like I was asleep for the longest time. They never knocked. And finally, I just got tired of seeing the flashlights everywhere. And I made Toffee get up with me. I drug him in there and opened up the door. Lo and behold, there's nobody there. Now, I know for a fact, later on, like I said, I'm going to get to how I knew that they were there later on in the story. But I don't know if I had just waited so long and then my mind just continued to think that they were there when they weren't. But whenever I looked outside, it was daylight and there was nobody out there. The only people that I saw out there were the people that I thought were moving in next door to me. Now, come to find out, nobody had moved in next door. But so I went over there and I was like, "Do y'all know why the cops were over here at my house?" And it was people that I had never seen before, and none of them wanted to answer me. And I like walked halfway out into the yard and was like, "Hey, do y'all know who was over here at my house?" And nobody wanted to answer me, so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go back inside." So I go back inside, and trying to trying to figure out what was going on. By this time, my throat was really freaking sore. Like, I don't know if, pretty sure I had caught strep throat in this time. And so later on during that day, I remember seeing who I thought was a lady that was moving in next door coming over to my windows to put screens on my windows at my house. And like anyone in their right mind would be like, yeah, that's not really happening. But I was convinced that the people that were moving in next door were so scared of my dog that they had convinced that they were going to put uh, window screens to where he couldn't get out through the window all the way around my house. And this become an ongoing issue with me mentally. Obviously, they never were doing that. But I would like sit in here and I would see them through the curtain. I could see them like literally putting screens up on my windows. And I would sit there and I would take pictures of them. I still had the pictures of me taking the picture through the window, and looking at it now, there's nothing there. But whenever I was taking the picture, there was somebody there that was putting a screen on my window. And so I got convinced that I pissed them off. I was convinced that they had called the law on me for some reason, and that I had pissed them off because I found out that they were the ones that called the law on me. Now, all this obviously never really happened, but this went on for a couple of hours. I'd see them all around my house putting up screens around my window, and I'm pretty sure that later on I'd fallen asleep, and I had thought that I had went to a program that I'm still in, and had talked to some people, and they were mad at me. I know that I hope this all makes sense, because like I said, whenever you're on this, you're having these things called micro naps, where you are still in a sense of consciousness, but you're dreaming. So what you're dreaming, you're convinced is really going on. I don't know if I was like, laid down when these dreams would happen, but I know that whenever I would dream these stories, that when I would come to, that I was really living what I thought had happened in that dream. And what I had thought had happened is a lot of people had like basically overtaken my house, and they were having some sort of Thanksgiving or holiday party with all these people that I had no idea who they were. So I remember woke up, and I had thought that I'd went to this program that I was in, and I pulled up and they were all at my house. Um, so I went in there, and there were all these people around my house. Like, I'm seeing all these people all over my house, and I'm just flipping out, dude. I'm like, y'all got to fucking go. Like, I'm yelling at these people. I'm like, y'all have got to get the fuck out of my house. So Toffee was in here, and he's freaking out because I'm like, I'm on fight or flight, and I'm leaning towards the fight. I pick up a tire iron that I had in my living room. For some reason, it was in there, and was convinced that there was a guy in my closet that had a knife. Now, this was whenever I kind of had figured out, I'm going through complete psychosis right now. And I kind of started to figure out how I could get through it. But there was a guy in my closet that I'm, screaming at the top of my lungs, I will beat your ass if you don't get the fuck out of my house. And, I remember him holding the blade up. I'm like, oh, you gonna pull a knife on me? You gonna pull a knife on me? The whole time, all it was a t-shirt in my closet. A freaking t-shirt. My mind had made out this whole skinny dude with dreadlocks. And he would look at me and have all these but he would just mouth stuff, but he wouldn't talk to me. And he would like nod. I'd be like, you pulled a knife on me? Like, holding it right there, but never heard anything verbal. And I just remember I was pulsating. And Toffee, that's where Toffee goes whenever he's scared. Like if it thunders or something, he'll go in that closet and hide. So obviously he's scared because I'm standing there screaming at somebody that's not there to get the fuck out of my house. I'll beat your head in. So Toffee, what does he do? He goes in there and hides in the closet. And I'm like so far on edge. I'm like, dude, I don't want to have to freaking hurt this dude. But when I do, I'm going to mash the gas. And I'm scared to death. And so Toffee goes in there and hides. And he's like behind this dude. And I'm like, man, just give me my dog back. Just give me my dog back. Give me my dog back, bro. Pick up the tire iron, and I'm like, if you don't give me, I'm gonna beat your head in, blah, blah, blah. And so I just pulled the tire iron back, and I just pushed it in his face, and then he disappeared. It was a t-shirt. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so I come to. That's whenever I'm kind of coming to, and I'm like, I was like on the verge. Luckily, I didn't know where my phone was. I was going to call 911 and ask for help because all these people were in my house, man. Thank God I didn't know where my phone was. So I'm going around, there's still all these people in my house in my mind, but I take the tire iron and I start pushing them. And they turn into clothes, man. I push them. I come in contact with them, push them, move them out the way. All they are is just stuff, man. Nothing was really there. But it didn't matter, dude. Every time I would turn around, there was more people laying around, more people over here, over there, people I don't know. But I realized, like, okay, just push them around. my house was a complete and total mess. Now, mind you, at the beginning, my house was completely clean, and I have no recollection of my house being how I got it so freaking dirty. This was kind of like a breakthrough moment, but I lost this breakthrough very quick. So, um, this breakthrough moment, I kind of cleared my house out because I went around and just started pushing all these people that I thought were there, and they turned into whatever they really were. So I'm guessing that at this time I might have took another nap, blacked out, whatever it was, and I came to, and I was convinced that the people that were putting screens on my windows had broke into my house. Like, there were obvious holes in the wall where they had done all this stuff, and there were bombs. There were like pipe bombs. There were these things that had like smokestacks on them that were all over my house, dude. And like, I was really legitimately seeing these bombs under my bed. I remember seeing one in the living room that had one of those old Nokia cell phones, like the really old ones. And when I got down close to it, I could like see it ringing, and it was vibrating. And anybody that watches those shows about the bombs, knows that people used to use cell phones to activate bombs, and they would just call them like IEDs. They would call them, and it would activate them. So I'm going around. There's smoke everywhere that's not really there. And then there's all these blue scales that have like this like putty stuff on them. They're like all these blue scales, and it looks like if you touch it, it's gonna like remove the weight, and then it'll activate it. So I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm going around. I'm looking all under my bed. I see all these jars with putty, and I see all these scales around with putty, and you can see where they had like broke into my house and had ran all this wire. And then I went out in the living room, and then there was these jars that had liquid that was coming out of them with smoke coming out. So I'm like, dude, somebody has fucking set up my house to blow up. And this was really what I was believing. I didn't even take to thought. Like, touch the stuff, move it around, see if it changes what it is, and see if it's just your mind. Man, I was convinced that somebody was trying to either blow me up or release toxic gases into my house to kill me. So I grabbed Toffee up, and we run outside. I grabbed an old cell phone, man, that barely powered up. Couldn't find my cell phone that worked because it was in the disaster of my house. And I couldn't find Toffee's leash, so I'm, basically dragging him by his harness and drag him out to where I felt like I was safe to call 911. Yes, I did. I called 911 and told them that there were bombs in my house. Somebody set up bombs, man. And so in part 3, we'll get into whenever they come and they show up. It doesn't end how you would probably expect it to, but there's definitely a lot more. It's gonna go from them showing up to me being convinced that they're not trying to help me, to me being convinced there's like 20 people in my house again. Lost the side of just push them and see if they're real. I forgot about all that, and eventually I have to take off, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. These people are trying to kill me. And I took the whole psychosis experience down the road, and it gets a whole lot more interesting and scary, man. I mean, the main thing that I hope somebody sees from this is like, damn, dude, like that could have been so bad for him, and I don't even want to mess with nothing no more because this is how it ends every single time. So y'all, part 3 will be dropping in the next couple of days. I know that my videos don't get a lot of views. I don't get a lot of support. All I ask for is just people to comment like, hey man, I like your content. I hate your content. It sucks. You need to just go fucking delete your channel. Whatever it is, man. Just to know that people are interacting with me, man. because this has been a hard time in my life that I'm really trying to come out of and make a positive out of, man. Life is good without the use of drugs in it. I am a chronic relapser. Toffee's about to start barking, so like I said, part 3 is whenever I'm going to tell y'all what happens when I call them here, and then I believe they're not trying to help me, and I take it down the road. So yeah, it gets very interesting from here on out. Till next time, y'all. That's psychosis stories, and we're over and out. Pennywise.